We're waiting for Jason to get there. Oh, okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. If you are able, please rise and join us in the pledge to our flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. 1.03 on our agenda tonight is approval of the agenda.
To approve the agenda. Second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. 1.04 is the introduction of our Elko County School District Student Board Member, Echo Hoover.
All right. I've got a little bio that Echo wrote. Hello, my name is Echo Hoover. I'm involved in several extracurricular activities in my school, including Hope Squad, Track and Field, HOSA, and the National Honor Society. I have 7 siblings, 5 sisters and 2 brothers. In track and field, I plan to go to state this year and even though I know I probably won't win, I plan to hopefully get 3rd in the 300 hurdles. This year in academics, I plan to get all A's and continue my pursuit in sports medicine. Echo, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Is there anything you'd like to add at this time? You're welcome. Yeah, push that button.
No, thank you. Just thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. So Echo, I just got to know, what's your time in the 300s right now?
Last year I missed my first meet because I was sick, but last year my PR was 45.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'll be there cheering for you.
I think 45 would be the number of hurdles I knocked over. All right, 1.05 is recognition of our winter sports champions and runners up. Do we have anyone here tonight from Wells? All right, Mr. Johnny Glasscock at 126 pounds is the 2025 boys wrestling state champion from Wells High School. Congratulations. Do we have anyone from the Carlin Winter Cheer team? Please come on up. And what is your name? Mercury? Pleasure to meet you. My name's Matt. Congratulations. The Carlin Winter Cheer team was the 2025 1A Winter Cheer Academic State Champions from Carlin. So congratulations. Mercury, what's your last name? Oh. Maybe it's towards the beginning. There we are. Thank you very much. Congrats again. If you'd like to shake everybody's hand.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, Mercury. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you.
And we have certificates for a number of the participants as well. And I apologize in advance for any mispronunciation of the names. Adian Adams, Abigail Capel, Arissa Cunningham, Theralyn Flores, Gracie Graves, Lindsay Ermer, Mercedes Malone, Bretta Melendez, Caitlin Pooley, and Layla Taylor. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Do we have anyone from West Wendover? In West Wendover, Destiny Gonzalez was the 2025 Girls Wrestling State Champion, and Faith Gonzalez was the 2025 Girls Wrestling State Runner-Up. Congratulations to those ladies. Do we have anyone from Elko High School? All right, come on up, gentlemen. Just one of you? Oh, okay, there we are. Hi, I'm Matt. Cody? Demetrius? All right. So, Demetrius, if you want to turn around and kind of wave or show everybody. Demetrius Ruiz is the 2025 Boys Wrestling State Champion for Elko High School in the 132-pound category. That's not what it's called. It's called weight class. Thank you. Class is what I was looking at. And Cody Goss is the 2025 Boys Wrestling State Runner-Up in the 144 class. Congratulations, gentlemen. Demetrius, can I have that sticker back? Thanks, appreciate it. And also from Elko High School, Tregan Hansen is the 2025 Boys Wrestling State Runner-Up in the 165-pound class. Congratulations, Mr. Hansen. All righty, are there any other state champions or runner-ups that we may have missed? If we have and you're listening, we can get you certificates as well, but congratulations to our winter sports champions and runners-up. 1.06 is recognition of the Elko County School District Spelling Bee top finishers. Do we have our Spelling Bee folks? Come on up. And I am going to give you the certificates.
Thank you. Good evening. I am Candace Brown. I'm the Spring Creek Middle School spelling coordinator and the district spelling coordinator. And we had our district spelling bee on February 14th. And we had quite a few kids that showed up. But our spelling champions, 5th grade, is Gavin Anderson from Flagview. Job.
Congratulations, Gavin.
Our 5th grade champion. Are you going next week? Going to Vegas? So they're going to Vegas for the state level on March 29th. So good luck. Then our 6th grade champion was Andrew Garcia, also from Flakeview. I'm not sure if we have any more. Our 7th grade champion was Maximus Carefield from Wells. And then our 8th grade champion is Ariana Anderson from Adobe. Just to give you a little heads up, Gavin's winning word was anomaly. Andrew Garcia's was university. Maximus was vicious. Ariana Anderson and Carter both from Adobe went 24 rounds. We probably hit the hardest words we possibly could, and finally went back a little bit, and she won on blastogenesis and implacable. So yeah, those are some words we really had to work on. So they will all be going, as far as I know, to the state level. And that is on the 29th. And then if they do well, they'll go to the national level, which is in Washington, D.C. So congratulations to all of my spellers. And thank you to everybody who helped out and made it an eventful day.
Thank you very much
Thank you,
for your
Gavin.
time as well, Ms. Brown. Let's give
Thank
them
you.
all a round of applause. All righty, 1.07 is recognition of our Elko County School District STEM Fair Grand Prize winners. Thank you, sir.
So hi, I'm James Brawley. I'm one of the co-directors for the STEM Fair. We had that on March 10th to 13th. We have our top 3 grand prize winners here. They're going to give you a quick presentation on what their board is about and their project. They will be all going to Columbus, Ohio, May 10th to the 16th for the International Science Fair. So first up will be Avery Schulte.
Hello, I'm Avery Schulte, and then this was my STEM Fair board, biodegradable algae plastic, and this was my solution to plastic pollution, is what I like to say. But basically, when looking for a project idea for the STEM Fair, I was looking at like very relevant like problems today, and plastic pollution is one that's kind of continuing to grow. And even though since plastic is used so many times in our lives, I figured that instead of trying to eradicate plastic completely, trying to come up with a solution was probably much more sustainable. So during my research, I looked at a lot of different like vegetable derivatives and how vegetables can be used to make plastic-like substances. But I found that there's actually biopolymers that can be found in seaweed that actually are much more abundant and then can make plastics. So this is a very, very like prototype model. But I developed 3 different like test plastics and then changed the amount of biopolymer, which was reduced from the algae. So then I could get different consistencies and strengths as well as flexibilities throughout my project. But no, so that was kind of the basis. That was kind of the basis. Any questions?
I have no idea where even to begin, Avery. That is awesome. You might want to start working on trademarks and protecting your ideas. This is really cool.
I think it was I wouldn't use it for anything. It stunk. It smelled very, very bad. But it was a very, very fun like prototype to kind of test the idea to see if you could really use seaweed to make something that resembled plastic. And I think I definitely have a lot of ideas on how this design specifically can be developed and bettered for future uses.
Well, Avery, I was going to ask you about the smell because I knew that would be an issue, but I also know there's a company that makes fabric from seaweed. So you could get a hold of them and then you could maybe work together to figure out how they're doing that and you could get rid of the smell. And it would be fantastic to see Avery
Totally.
Schulte plastic, biodegradable plastic in our stores.
Yeah.
So this is awesome.
Thank you.
So I'm just curious, after you made these plastic samples, did they feel like and act like plastic?
So
How did
yeah,
they-
it was really cool. My different tests, so I changed the amount of, it's a biopolymer called carrageenan, which is derived from the algae. But as you change the amount, it actually changed the strength of it. So not only the strength, but the flexibility. So my test strip that had the least amount of carrageenan was really interesting because it was very flexible. You could like fold it all the way in half and then back and it wouldn't break or tear. Versus my test strip with the most amount of carrageenan, it actually resembled like the strength and the feel of like a plastic water bottle, but it was a little more brittle. So it did tend to snap once you bent it and folded it all the way like 180 degrees.
Avery, congratulations again. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
representing Elko County School District so well.
Thank you. Have a good night.
So, like Avery's project, my project was also on polymers and how they can create plastic. And I was wondering myself how plastics were really made and why they're kind of considered on the downside of, they're bad for pollution reasons and they're kind of hard to make. So I was researching and I figured out that plastics are just chains of polymer stranded together to create some sort of solid, which is why some plastics are a lot more stretchy and bendy, yeah. And I also figured out that there's a protein in milk called casein that when heated up and added with an acid can create plastics. And I was wondering what different milk types, so like 0%, 1%, 2%, whole milks, and how they make different plastics and what chemicals inside the different milks change plastics. So I did my research and I did my tests and I figured out that they had a very obvious trend where the 0% was a lot more like rigid and hard, while the whole percent and the 2% were a lot more like kind of flowy and stretchy. So I think that since the milk content in the 0% and the 1% are a lot lower, that they're a lot more brittle, a lot more hard, while the 2% whole milk were a lot more rigid because of their fat content. And I had a really fun with this project. And I definitely thought about like testing more things like with whole milk and other kind of milky substances to see if they can create other plastics. I also wanted to see maybe if adding a different acid than vinegar, the acid that I use, would change the plastics in any way. So I had a lot of fun with this experiment, and I think it would be fun if I did it again.
Great, thank you. And what is your name, sir?
Max Fraley, sorry.
I'm sorry, Max?
Fraley,
Fraley?
yeah.
All right. Well, Max, thank you very much. This is pretty cool as well. Plastic apparently was the theme of the
Common
year.
theme, yeah.
Did you try only cow milk or did you try goat milk or other milks?
Yeah, like I said, I would love to try other milks, but yeah, I did only try cow milk. It's very interesting.
I was going to say, I've seen videos where they make mozzarella with whole milk and they put vinegar in it. They heat it to a certain temperature. Anyways, did you learn anything did you make anything that resembled mozzarella?
I used like a mold, just kind of making little bars of it, and then I cut it into little pieces and then testing its properties with different like elastic and proportional stretching limits. Just general testing, but no, I did not make mozzarella, sadly. That'd be so cool. Now you're making me hungry.
We could put it on Avery.
Algae. Well, just Max, good luck. This is awesome. And you'll have to give us your report when you get back from the national competition as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Max.
Hi, my name's Erica Lopez, and I did my board on AI detectors. So I had found numerous articles and videos where college students have been flagged false positives on some of the essays that they've written, and it's been deemed as written by artificial intelligence. So I just sparked the question, how reliable are these AI detectors? So I hypothesized that they were not going to be reliable given the fact that these articles were showing that they were getting false positives. So I found 3 well-known AI detectors, and it was Quillbot, GPT-0, and Undetectable AI. And then I also found one of the most well-known AI writers, which was ChatGPT. And I asked 8 individuals to write short responses to a prompt, which was about television violence, and I just chose that as a prompt. And then I had them write a response with no AI, some AI, and complete AI. And then I had each of the responses detected 3 times. And I found that the no AI, the results were all over the place. None of them were consistent, and they were all giving me different ones. So like at least 1 out of the 8 responses were flagged as AI for the no AI. Some of them, some AI ones were varied and they showed different results. And then with the complete AI, a majority of them were as human written. So it varied. And overall, I found that the AI detectors were not reliable. But yeah.
Thank you very much, Erica. We'll have to make sure that we keep an eye on that ourselves for our students.
So Erica, as you were looking at this, AI is going to be something we're going to use in the future, right?
Mm.
What are your thoughts on AI in education? What do you think its place is? Do you think we should try to use AI detectors? Do you think, hey, why not use AI and, assign things in a different way? What are your thoughts on how AI fits in education?
I think that artificial intelligence is bound to be everywhere in society. And I think that we need to find a way to incorporate it and promote it because kids are gonna still find a way to get to it and strategize or use it. And it can be used in positive ways like creating study guides or creating plans. So I think we just need to find a way to balance it and incorporate it without stealing creativity or like imagination. But yeah.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Thank you to all 3 of you for presenting, and you gave great presentations, by the way. You're very good at it.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck, Erica. Thank you as well for representing Elko County School District so well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Brawley, thank you to you and your team as well for putting this on, for getting everything gathered. And I know that judges are one of those things that you have to try to find. And so we appreciate the judges as well for those that were able to give their time. Students, good luck again and congratulations. All righty, 1.08 is to receive a presentation from the Elko High School Hope Squad.
Hello, I am Kimberly Vargas. I am the head advisor for the Hope Squad in Elko at Elko High School. And I brought some of them with me and they make me feel very short, but they are very cool kids. One you have with you tonight. So would you guys do me a favor and make sure everybody gets one of these, please? Thank you. Okay. I promise it's not scary. Okay.
Thanks.
So the concept here is to show how we use small actions to help save lives. You've got a sealed envelope, and inside of it is a little note, and it is one that one of my Hope Squad members wrote for an assignment yesterday, because we have groups doing presentations this week. I make them teach the class, which is really cool. I give them an assignment, I give them the materials that Hope Squad provides, and I give them time, and then everybody has to do a lesson. And the lessons that we're doing this week, as we're doing them, I'm having the other students write down something that they're picking up from that lesson as a positive note that they're then going to take with them and put on campus somewhere. So we have them in the bathrooms, they end up on the lockers, they end up everywhere. But I stole some of them from yesterday to give to you. So if you'll open your envelopes, it's just kind of an example of how we often write anonymous uplifting notes. We don't put names on them. We don't say, hey, this one's from Sissy, hey, this one's from Jace or Echo, Mariana. They just kind of go out, and basically if you've ever been somewhere where you walk into like a bathroom or somewhere and there's a sticky note on the mirror that says, hey, you're great, you're doing great, just a little bit more, you're gonna be great. It really, really does tend to kind of perk you up a little bit. The crankiest girl can walk into the Elko High School bathroom and see a cute note on the wall and almost smile, I guarantee it. So that's the goal. So will one of you read your note for us?
I'll read mine. Mine says, no matter how big your stress bucket is or how overflowing your bucket is, take time to dump the water out.
That was from
Fun.
yesterday's lesson, talking about stress and managing stress and remembering and like figuring out how to find relaxation and things in there. That's a really, really good one. Anybody else want to share?
Mine says, make time for yourself today.
That's a huge lesson that we teach in Hope Squad, because we are out there with people who are struggling, and it gets very heavy and it gets very, very difficult, especially if things happen on campus like we had this year. And if they're not taking care of themselves and filling their own buckets and also emptying their buckets, then they know that they are no good for what our mission is. And so we really put a lot of emphasis on taking care of them and taking care of ourselves and each other. So that's really important. Do you want to share, Brooke?
Sure. Mine says, be good to your brain. Breathe and rest when you need it.
Yep, that was
That's one I
yesterday's
need to
lesson as
listen to.
well, because if we are so stressed or not getting enough sleep or getting too much sleep, as we talked about, it affects the brain, the makeup of your brain. And a lot of these presentations the kids do in the lessons they teach have little videos in them that teach them, some of these things, but they're really, really great. Okay, so I brought 4 of the Hope Squad members today, and they're gonna share with you just a quick little impactful story of someone that they helped without names, or some way that they've made an impact this year with Hope Squad. So we'll start with Jace Kufeld.
Hi, thank you for having us all here today. I'm really happy to be here. I joined Hope Squad just recently this semester. It's been a life-changing experience. I've loved every second of it. My story I had, it wasn't in person. 90% of the time since I'm new, people don't really know I'm in Hope Squad yet. I remember I was scrolling TikTok and I saw a post of a young boy and he was talking about he was going through something rough. I shot him a DM. I didn't want to sound creepy, but it probably was to him at first. I was like, hey, just wondering if you're doing okay. Part of a group, we help people that are going through things. He DM'd me back and we talked for like 30 minutes that night. And he checks up with me every Thursday. and he's doing way better now. He joined the football team. He's doing great, and I'm very proud of him for being able to communicate. And I'm also proud of myself a little bit for being able to reach out.
Okay, let's have Mariana Medina.
Hello, I'm Mariana. And one hopeful thing, well, basically what I did was I always hand out these little paper stars that I always make. And I give them out to people, and they have little notes inside whenever you open them. And in there, it says hopeful things. It says things very positive and very, happy. And I gave it to someone one day, and they were really down and like not happy that day. I could see it in their face. And so they opened it. I told them to open it, and they opened it. And it kind of impacted them quite a bit because I saw them start crying and they really needed that paper star that day, that helpful moment for them and everything like that. And I consoled them and everything. And I talked to them though about their day, and they just said that they've been having a really rough, stressful day. And I was just happy to be there for them and for that paper star to get in their hands.
I can preach about our stars. My desk is covered in them. They are very tiny, very tiny. So tiny things make big impacts. Sissy Sanchez is one of our Hope Squad members that is everywhere doing everything.
She said, I'm Sissy Sanchez. Hello. Basically, one of the things that's kind of like impacted Hope Squad to be like a bigger group is I'm known as like this popular kid at school. It gets tiring. But during basically the first day back to school, they called my name, and I was walking down, and everyone was like, "Yeah, Sissy, woo!" And I really realized then that I was like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm in this group," because also Hope Squad has helped me a lot with my mental health. It's been really bad with past years. But yeah, noticing that, just like I have all my friends there to support, and all the juniors to support me too, which makes me really happy. Thank you.
Sissy is one who goes to everything and does everything that we do. I cannot get her out of the school most of the time. There are times when I have to force her not to go to things. But when she says she's the popular kid on campus, it's not like the popular kid, right? Everybody knows Sissy for a reason because she is positive. She's out there. She's spreading the message. She's everybody's friend. She's creative. She involves herself in everything. She's got to be exhausted. But putting yourself out there like that is hard. And so being in Hope Squad, it helps her to have like a dedicated message instead of just sporadic, right? It's been really good. And then last but not least, we have Echo Hoover.
I feel like I just saw you guys. So this year, we all know, we lost someone pretty close to us at Elko High School. It was a very rough time. A lot of people came to us, and I noticed a massive impact that Hope Squad was able to make. I noticed we were able to be there for so many people. Multiple people came to me, but a big part of it was one of my closest friends was really affected by it, and I was able to talk to him personally, and I really noticed how much we were able to help. There's no referrals needed or anything like that, but he knew that I was there for him because I was capable of helping him. And that just really made me feel good as a member of Hope Squad. And yeah, that was great.
So the point that we're making tonight is you just had 5 minutes hearing about lives that were changed or little bits of things like little paper stars that make a difference. And for us, our main thought is if we can do that much in 5 minutes, imagine what we've done all year. And these kids work really, really hard, and they have giant hearts, and I'm so proud of them. But did you guys have any questions?
I just want to say we're proud of you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love to hear your stories. And I know when you reach out and, serve somebody else, it impacts you too for the better, right?
Right.
So thank you. That was
And
awesome
it
to hear.
does, like Echo said, we have times when referrals are not necessary. What that means is because the logo for Hope Squad it's a rescue buoy, we have a process called buoys. And so if the kids have spoken with someone, noticed someone, heard something, saw something on TikTok, whatever, and it's during school hours, they'll send an email and just the subject says buoy, and then the message will tell me who and what they heard or whatever. then I can send either a Hope Squad member to visit with that person or run it up to the counselors, and they pull them in for like a random, hey, how you doing this school year? It'll go to their actual counselor, which is done by last names, and they will never know they were referred. They will never know we know what they're going through. They will never know that this is dedicated to, we're worried about you for this specific reason. It's a general check-in. But when the counselors do that general check-in, it's very targeted behind the scenes. And so if we need to refer up, which we have done, for medical assistance or other things, then we can do that from there. And they still never know that it came from any of these guys. I mean, they can probably assume, but they'd really have to think about it. And we have helped, or I think we're up to 22 now. We have 22 referrals this year and one teacher. We had a teacher at Elko High School whose brother was going through some suicidal ideations, and she was worried because he didn't live here. And so she came to me and we went to the counselor and we were able to give her resources, and he's doing great. He was at her wedding and all is well. So it goes a lot farther than we expect it to sometimes.
So I was just curious, how many members of Hope Squad are there in Elko High School?
At Elko High School, we have 17, but we are starting the process of recruitment for next year, which can be done in multiple ways. The kids can come and pick up an application and say, hey, I want to do this. They can take applications and give them out to people that they think would be a good fit. And then you can be referred by, a teacher who thinks this is a good idea, or there's multiple ways to get the information to me. And from there, we kind of go through things like, we do look at grades because you have to be eligible to do the things that we're doing, right? Grades eligible. But we also kind of look at what they're involved in, who they are, what people said about them when they referred them, your experiences with them. We'll ask teachers, hey, this is the list that we're looking at. Do you have any insights, kind of thing? And then hopefully invite them to be a part of Hope Squad. And not everybody wants to. It is a lot. It is heavy. It can be uncomfortable. Suicide is it's not a comfortable thing. But we've really tried this year to change the stigma around not being okay and the stigma around Hope Squad. It was very quiet last year. It was there and it worked great, but we're a lot louder this year. We have posters all over campus all the time. We're always, doing things. We just did our second Hope Week of the year last week with events and activities and dress up days and all of that. So we're very present this year compared to the first year, and that has made a difference. So that's nice. So if anybody is interested in joining Hope Squad or wants to know about it, they can just reach out to me and I can help with that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vargas. Thank you very much to our students as well. We appreciate what you're doing. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
1.09 is recognition of our February STARS recipients. We're also going to take the time to recognize our January STARS recipients. In January, we had Eric Cervantes. Is Eric joining us remotely? All right. We also had Jessica Whitmore. Is Jessica here? All right. So we're going to move on for our February STARS recipients. Jennifer Slusher, come on down. You read that?
Right there is good. Then you got a spot to lean.
Okay, let's see. Just start here, I'm guessing.
Sure.
Okay. Dear STARS Award Committee, it is with great honor that I nominate Mrs. Jennifer Slusher for the Elko County School District STARS Award. Mrs. Slusher, our dedicated registrar at Northside Elementary, is an irreplaceable, I'm guessing that just means is irreplaceable in our school community. Her unwavering dedication, kindness, and exceptional work ethic make her a shining example of excellence in our district. Mrs. Slusher's role as our school registrar goes far beyond paperwork and compliance. She ensures that all student records are correctly maintained and aligned with state guidelines, working closely with me as the English learner teacher to support our diverse student population. She takes special care in assisting with the records of underprivileged students, ensuring they receive the necessary support and resources to succeed. Her effort in this area ensures that these students are not overlooked, no matter their circumstances. She does so with patience, diligence, and a desire to make every student's experience at Northside Elementary a positive one. Mrs. Slusher's positive attitude is contagious. She is truly a light to all who know her. Staff, students, and parents alike. She takes on every task, no matter how big or small, with a smile and a willingness to help. She is a great example of teamwork, always ready to take on additional responsibilities. Whether covering lunch duties, assisting with parent inquiries, or managing school records, she performs each role with efficiency and kindness. Beyond her professional responsibilities, Mrs. Slusher's commitment to our school community is significant. She actively volunteers on our school's PTA, serves as our social media representative to make sure that parents remain informed and engaged. Thanks to her efforts, the bridge between home and school has never been stronger. Additionally, she single-handedly took on the task of creating Northside's very first yearbook several years ago, a passion project she continues to this day. Her dedication to documenting school memories exemplifies her deep love for our students and staff. Mrs. Slusher wears many hats, and she is a compassionate presence in our school. She exemplifies what it means to be a star, shining, talented, altruistic, resilient, and supportive. For these reasons and many more, I wholeheartedly recommend Mrs. Jennifer Slusher for the S.T.A.R.S Award. Thank you for your time and consideration. Abigail Parkin, ECSD employee.
Congratulations, Ms.
Thanks.
Slusher. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
If you'd like to come up, we'd like to shake your hand.
And I have a student at Northside. Well, I've had many students at Northside, and she is amazing. Always smiling and always helpful.
Thank you so much for all you do.
They're durable. Another member of the S.T.A.R.S recipients this month for February is Michelle Beasley.
All right, as she comes up, I'll go ahead and read this letter. To whom it may concern, I am writing to wholeheartedly recommend Michelle Beasley for the S.T.A.R.S Award. As her colleague at Spring Creek Elementary, I've had the privilege of witnessing her go above and beyond over the past 2 years, and I can confidently say that she is an exceptional candidate for your award. Michelle takes an active role among her 4th grade team, her colleagues, and within our school community to ensure that everyone is successful. She consistently demonstrates leadership qualities that inspire others to strive for excellence. Her ability to collaborate effectively with her team not only fosters a positive learning environment, but also encourages a sense of camaraderie. One of Michelle's most remarkable qualities is her passion for teaching, which is infectious. She has an innate ability to inspire her students to develop a love for learning, making education both meaningful and relevant. Michelle approaches challenges with enthusiasm and encourages others to embrace new ideas and perspectives. Moreover, she excels at building students' confidence and helping them uncover their strengths. Michelle has a unique talent for recognizing each individual's potential and finding ways to nurture it. She is dedicated to helping her students discover their intrinsic motivation for learning, guiding them to set and achieve personal goals. Michelle's commitment to education and the success of others is truly commendable. She has a profound impact on those around her, and I am confident that she will continue to inspire and uplift others in their future endeavors. In conclusion, I wholeheartedly feel Michelle deserves the S.T.A.R.S Award. She is a remarkable individual who shares her knowledge, passion, leadership, and dedication with all she comes in contact with. Sincerely, Anonymous.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Michelle. This is great.
Thank you, Ms. Beasley. The final person we'd like to recognize this evening for a February S.T.A.R.S recognition is Lindsay Lee. And was Lindsay joining us remotely? No? Okay. All right. So congratulations to all of our recipients. Let's give them another round of applause. And we'd also like to thank the businesses and organizations that make this possible. Leanne's Floral Designs, Maverick Gaming, Rotary Club of Elko Desert Sunrise. You'd think I'd know that one. the S.T.A.R. and LPT Gaieta Real Estate Group. So thank you very much to those organizations and businesses as well. All righty. 1.10 is input from the public, if any. Seeing none, we will move into our discussion and action items. 2.01 is receipt, review, and possible approval of the critical need designation for special education teachers in Elko County School District. This would be effective July 1, 2025. Mr. Krinka.
Hi again. As the paper says, this will be, I think, the third time that we'll designate special ed teachers, special education licenses as critical needs. We already did school psychs last year, and then we'll just re-up this designation, which will start July 1 and it will be for 2 years again. There's 15. Of course, that constantly changes daily. But there's 15. We found that we have found a few more, like in the last 2 weeks. In fact, I think we've hired or offered positions to 3 licensed special ed teachers, but still when we only have about 60 some in the district, we're missing 15. That's a pretty high percentage. So I do think that with your approval, we'll get the state approval to designate this as critical needs again.
Thank you, Mr. Krinka. Questions from the board?
Could I just ask, do the special ed teachers go through some of the same programs like a regular ed teacher does, like the ARL, like can they do the same things like student teaching through UNLV or GBC?
Okay, so yes, that isn't specifically to critical needs, of course, but yes, you can go through and you can, people that have a regular bachelor's degree can go through and get an ARL in special education. Through specific schools to offer specific ARLs, so I can't list off which schools those would be. And then there's the interim route to certification, which is an IRC, and that would be someone like me, for instance, that has a license in teaching. And if I wanted to go and become, go into the SPED side of things, then Dr. Higby back there can write a letter, and then we can work on them having a provisional in special education, and then they can start right away in that program.
Do we have people doing that?
Yes. Yep, and they have 3 years to get that completed,
Okay.
similar to the ARL.
I don't have any questions, but I move to approve the critical needs designation for special ed teachers in the Elko County School District effective July 1st, 2025.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Krinken. We'll have you stay right up there for 2.02, a human resources update.
All right. Go ahead and interrupt me with any questions you want to as we go through this. Current positions, and I screwed up and put current, but that was current last week when I did this. So we're looking at a couple of administrators, certified positions, special ed, which we just talked about, would be 15. We've already mentioned that I offered 3 positions, but in that time, we've also designated and determined we needed another school. We needed another special ed teacher at a specific school. So I always hesitate when we talk about current because it changes by the hour, quite literally. So that's what we had last year. Everybody's always interested in a comparison. We're basically the same as we were a couple of years ago, much better than last year, with 75 certified positions posted. Last week, we've done 11 hires. That doesn't include the 3 SPED teachers that we just talked about. It's similar to February. Last year, we still had a lot more at this point. We've had, in my opinion, it seems like we've had some earlier notifications than we usually do. Just people letting us know that they're going to retire, that they're going to resign at the end of the year, which we always appreciate. In contract or policy, it is recommended by April 1st, but it's not required to do so. The requirement comes in May. Well, the initial requirement is requested in May. We send out a notice of reemployment. They can accept that or deny that. And obviously, a lot of them deny it. They have that intent, deny it then, but then they also have certain parameters throughout the summer without penalty when they can resign it. Usually 10 days after the last, don't quote me on that one, 10 days after the last student day is usually when most of them do that because then they can resign or retire without fiscal penalty on their current contract. So that's usually when we get them. So I would expect, I'm surprised how many we have because it seems a little earlier than normal. And I'll obviously expect a bunch more in May. So you'll have people going through and cross-referencing my numbers. But once again, I preface, cross-reference that when they go to the ECSD webpage for the HR and they'll go through and start counting. But yeah, like I said, couple a day that changes. So I don't know if there's any questions on that. And remember, these are only certified. Reminder, certified is only on our teacher, psychs, SPED teachers, admin side of things, basically everything that was listed before, those 3 things. So this does not, that number does not include custodians or bus drivers or those types of things. Yes, ma'am.
Our school nurses are included in certified as well,
School nurses
correct?
are, yep,
Okay.
yep. And we just had one opening just recently, like last week or 2. And counselors. And we don't have any counseling open positions open right now. The Grow Your Own program, one of the things that's happened, in my opinion, that seems to work the best. Grow Your Own program. And some principals have been doing that on their own. They recognize talented individuals in their community. They may or not hired them as a long-term sub or a paraprofessional, and then they assist them in getting their degrees. We work with a lot of universities, but these ones seem to be the most. Obviously, Great Basin College across the street, Nevada, UNLV, Western Governors University, Grand Canyon. We have 21 student teachers in our school district this spring, which is a lot. Normally, that's an 8 or 9 per semester. So that's a good thing. Those are 21 individuals. A lot of them are already in schools as a parapro or long-term sub, but surprisingly, a lot are not. And they're doing the traditional route of just going to college, brick and mortar, or whatever it may be, and then finding a placement within our district. So that's a good number. It's a lot higher than it's been, for sure. Other things we're doing, career fairs. We had a lot more career fairs lined up than we attended. Our career fairs are paid for through federal funds, through grants. And when that came to a screeching halt, we quickly had a screeching halt on what we could before we had to be switched to the general fund. So we've only gone to 6 or 7 career fairs. Idaho, Utah, South Dakota, and Wyoming. I went to one myself. It's much better than it's been in a long time, probably since I've been even in the admin side. There's a lot more kids. It used to be you'd have to walk around the table and stop people. You like get in front of them because there's so few, and now it's just a constant. The career fairs are getting smarter, and they're not only bringing by the people that are graduating now, but maybe a year or 2, so they can start that process, which we appreciate. At those career fairs, we gather as many resumes as we can. We talk to everybody. We pile up those resumes for each one. I scan them, send them to the principals. I'll just organize them as best as we can. Of course, we give them all the information, which is what you have in front of you. And we also have new banners to bring people to our booths. The thing that does bring people the most to our booth, besides Ray and I's amazing personality, is the fact that we have a 4-day. We advertise that quite adamantly. They're very interested in that fact and how that works, especially based on our location. Those are always the questions. First thing is, where's Elko, and tell me about the 4-day. The thing I've noticed the most in the few years I've done this is that the thing that draws teachers to schools is geography and the principal. Yep, they figured out when they have their own classroom, they're basically, once that door shuts, it's their classroom wherever they're at. And the important parts are you happy where you're living, and are you happy with your boss? So we do a pretty good job on both of those things. We seem to have the most success, and when I measure success, it's applications and interviews, because we still struggle on how many people we hire from these things. Much better than before, but still not as many as we would hope. But we try to target universities with the same geography as we do. If they went to school there for 4 or 5 years, that type of geography, then they probably want our geography as well. So going down those lines, banners, collaboration, as we talked about before, there's a lot of universities. UNLV was talked about last week. Great Basin College, they have some fast tracks, especially for parapros, people that are in the R systems. They're recruiting them to become teachers as well. You got Nevada Promise scholarships, those types of things. that our state government will reimburse students if they're going to college in one of our schools, and if they've worked for a specific number of years, and I can't remember how many that is, but so our state legislature, especially in the last one, did a lot to help us find people, pretty much try to eliminate as many excuses. And of course, as you know, you guys on the raise, statewide, that helps out a lot. When we go, we do have the fact that our starting salary is 48,000 on our banner. It's in comparison, it's pretty close. It's most everybody's right around 50. Like when you go to Utah, it's in the 60s for starting salary. But of course, we have different benefits and those types of things. We have great benefits. But to be honest, when you're 23, 24, and you're 33 years from retirement, that's not something they're going to talk to us about. So it's a better retention model, definitely a transfer model. We get a lot of people that transfer from other school districts because they stay in PERS and they like our benefits, and obviously they like our geography. All right. Patriots to Education. We've talked about this for a couple of years. It used to be all troops to teachers. Now it's Patriots to Education. And now that the Department of Ed is up and questionable. I'm curious of how this will work, but the Elko County School District is one of 6 districts in the state that participates in this. Basically, when people leave the military, they go through an exit process and with the Department of Defense, and then they're presented with various options for what they can do. And we are doing our best to make sure that they know that we're available to them, not only for teaching, but bus driving, mechanics, all those types of things. It comes to no surprise that Mr. Brawley is a veteran. He's pretty much amazing at everything. He is, I don't even know the word. If you go to the website, he's on there with his testament that's right there, a picture of him as well. They're trying to get him to do a video, but yeah, he's pretty modest, so he's not going to do it on that, which nobody's surprised. But he does represent us well, and he represents us well on this stage as well. Other initiatives that we've talked about, the J1 and H1B, we continue to do these. The J1s, I think we've talked about a lot. If we have any questions on those and the difference with H1Bs, we continue to do some. We've slowed down a little bit, but we still offer that, especially in Windover. It seems is easiest to meet the qualifications. When I am exploring on the special education side, I've learned a lot. Teresa smiles because she knows I have, hard time saying no to a lot more work, and this is a lot more work, as I've mentioned before. So I've learned a lot, and I think we can maybe find the ability to be qualified for H1Bs on special education. And we just started that process today. In fact, this in the last couple hours with our legal team for our immigration to determine that ability. And we figure some faster routes. We do have J1s or H1Bs from Canada, the UK, and the Philippines that'll work for us now, right now. And they're not all in Windover. There's a lot more there than elsewhere. Pullpack, the ERMEP. When I look at Brooke, because I believe if you remember, we had a Pullpack representatives, they were virtual, and they talked about having Pullpack basically audit each of our departments to figure out some flaws, go through all that. We're still doing that. I think Matt directed the superintendent directed us, and then I started because I get all the Pullpack things, and each department is still going through that. It's a very long process. Everybody is doing pretty well, in my opinion, as with Pullpacks, and we just go through, and once we get that done, because it does take over a year to do, we'll report that. You'll probably see some new policies come up. They're like, well, we should probably have a policy for this and a policy for that, and that would be a result of the questions and the go through by Pullpack, and they've done a lot. They're very, very helpful, and they're very lenient on our schedule, and they meet with us. It's nothing very too intrusive. They are here to help us, and they're great people to work with. We're doing the Elko County School District Teacher of the Year again, just like last year. Each school will use a nomination process of their choosing. They'll give that to us, a district office. District office personnel will then go through and pick. Whoa, that is the ultimate sign that I have talked too long. So, Dr. Higbee, I might have beat you. Move around. Someone wake Josh up.
I thought the lights were going out. It's like, here's the big part of the presentation. Bam.
Yeah, boom, this is where the fireworks. Oh, well. So we're doing that again. Legislative tracking, it's a legislative year, which is a lot of fun to keep track. Obviously, Jeff's not here, but Jeff keeps track of things on your guys' side and gives specifics. In the last legislature in 2023, we had 136 fiscal notes. What do you think, Seth? We had 136 fiscal notes. So fiscal notes are given to us. We go through, we read them and assign them to various departments and determine what kind of fiscal impact they have on the district. We aren't done, of course, this year. And as of this afternoon, we have 158. So it is much busier. We go through all of those. Appreciate everybody's help on that. And then either Superintendent Anderson, Cassie, or myself will submit that to the state legislature so that our legislatures, and they do read that because we've had follow-up calls about why it costs so much or why it costs so little in comparison. So those very important process. Being a poli-sci guy, it's fun to see the trends, and this is definitely the year for insurance. There are so many insurance legislative proposals. So a shout out, I'm starting to take Higbee's role, and a thank you to all our friends at LP Insurance because they've done so much to help us to determine what kind of impact we have on that one. At the top, it says State Survey, Nevada Educator Voices. So you guys have asked for an exit survey, and last year I said the state's doing one, so please hold off. And they did, and it finally got published, drumroll, February 28th from last year. So that's there. It's got 4 questions. Who's leaving? Why are they leaving? What could keep them? Where are they going? It's available to go through. It's got, yeah. The reason I don't present it, because we could take forever trying to figure out how to match and go through each one of those types of things. But how that works is towards the end of the year, I'll send out, I sign up anybody that's leaving the district for retirement, resignations, or transferring even within the district. And then the state sends that. It's completely anonymous. The goal for this website is to make it a living document, meaning that as people enter their information, it constantly changes. So we don't have to wait 9 months to get information so we can make those determinations. It doesn't break things down by school, but it does break things down by school districts, and not all of them. Clark's not on there for some reason, but they might be required to in the future. So we'll see. Questions, concerns, disappointments, grievances?
What do you think's your biggest challenge,
For,
just in general?
on the HR side, okay, we'll stick to the hiring side. Licensing, I would definitely say that. We had a difficult time, the state had a difficult time finding teachers. So they provided a lot of avenues and a lot of opportunities. And some of those avenues and opportunities are getting cut at the end because of funding, which is whoever's fault, whatever. And there's also the idea that we can do everything here at the district level to help them get a license because we need teachers so bad. And that's not the case. The Elko County School District is not in the business of licensing. We don't give advice on licensing. We get lots of questions and we tell them to ask the state because that constantly changes. I do attend those monthly meetings so I can try to stay up to date on all that. But even if I miss one or sometimes I miss an interpretation, that's just for my information so I can kind of have an idea of what to look for moving forward. I don't give input outside our cabinet on that one. So I would say licensing would be my most difficult. We have people that want to work, probably really good teachers, but they just don't have the credentials to do so. So it's a little difficult to say, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to pick somebody else on that one. Good question, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Krinka.
Yeah,
Appreciate your time.
Dr. Higbee.
2.03 is the receipt of a special services update. So let's see if we can
Nope.
get the lights to shut down on Dr. Higbee too.
That was
One
definitely-
thing before you go, Cody,
Yes, ma'am.
can we have the slideshow emailed to us?
Yep.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, just so we know, he is never going to hear the end of the lights going out on his, next time we'll expect the river dance for him to do a little jig up there, Irish stuff. So Mr. Kranke, looking forward to that.
Baskets.
Something. First thing I want to talk about is our Medicaid report. Skip. We have, as you can see, delivered services, a little over $700,000 in delivered services that we've provided. That's nursing, that's speech, that's occupational therapy, physical therapy, and our case managers. Of that, you can see nursing has brought in about 18,000, OT is 20, physical therapy is 16, and our speech therapy has brought in $146,000. All of that is money that we've recouped. When we don't recoup money is when we don't have parent consents. And that's the big thing. And this year, for the first time, those parent consents will be online. So when parents register, they can fill that out. Now, they don't have to, it's not mandatory. But if they say no and they don't fill it out, that means that if we offer services, we can't recoup those services that we've given to people or to our students. From year to date differences, this year we're going to be up about 19%, I believe, is what we're up from last year. And again, so we're getting better at what we do. Part of that is our Medicaid secretary, Naomi's doing a great job, and then our providers, which are our OTs, our PTs, our case managers, nurses. We're doing a better job there. The money that we are losing, though, is when we do not have consents. And so that's going to be a big push. So when somebody consents to Medicaid, it doesn't mean that it impacts their personal Medicaid at all. And it doesn't mean that we don't offer services to students. If someone is on Medicaid, when we send the bill to Frontline checks that out. If they're eligible for Medicaid, we get reimbursed for the services that we offer those students. And that recoups a lot of money. A couple $100,000 in this environment that we're in right now goes a long ways. Now, what does that do? What do the staff that document that? It takes a lot of time for them to do that. And so we ask extra things of them to document when they provide a service, and then they document that in Frontline, and then we get to collect on those services. Questions on Medicaid?
What would be a parent's reason to not want to sign so that, I'm just wondering.
I think it's a lack of knowledge,
Okay.
because to be honest with you, if we don't receive those funds, somebody else is receiving those funds, because the Medicaid account is there, and it is there so that we can provide enhanced services to our communities here in Elko County.
And is anybody reaching out to the parents to try and explain to them?
Yep, that's something that we, whenever we have an IEP, whenever we let them know that this is something that's important to us. So we're doing a good job. I think one of the big steps we're making is putting that on the registration. the electronic registration. And then once we figure out, okay, well, we've got this number of people who are not signed up for the Medicaid part of this, then we can, when they come in for IEPs or receive services, we can say, would you consider signing this consent form so that we can bill for Medicaid? So yeah, it's just it's an education piece. And we do lose a substantial amount because of those consents not being signed. But again, though, it doesn't impact services. It is just a way for us to recoup money for the services that we offer. Any other questions?
When you say that you lose money off of it, where does that money come from out of our budget? Is it like through, I guess what I'm trying to get at, is it funding that we may or may not have in the future, or is it general budget?
No, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with general funds. This only has to do with money from the state of Nevada and through the federal government. Now, as we know in this political climate, that Medicaid, there's a chance that some of that could be reduced. I know the state of Idaho went away from the enhanced Medicaid billing. I'm not sure what Nevada is going to do, but we're going to keep going as much as we can so that we can offer, it'll be the same services, but it will be the ability to hire additional people and provide different things because we've got extra funding.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Medicaid? Okay. Echo, any questions? Okay. I wanted to visit with you about that third place thing. Miracle on Ice, Rocky, and what was the other? Hoosiers. Go watch those movies. Okay. Okay. Well, not Rocky 1 because he loses. Rocky 2. Okay, that a boy. Okay, perfect. Very, very good. Miracle on Ice. Have you seen that? Okay, you got to see that, and you got to see Hoosiers. Okay, you're going to be in that. You're going to be in that track meet. You're going to be at state, and like I used to tell my kids, we're there. Why not just go win the thing? I mean, let's just go win it. Okay. I was thinking about that while I was sitting back there. So you can do this. So let's move on then to our special education diplomas. We've made substantial strides with our diplomas. Our regular diplomas for our SPED students, if you look at 24-25 and 23-24, you can see that. Let's look at Elko High School alone. And this is just for our SPED population. In 24-25, we'll give out, our students will earn 22 regular diplomas. And in 23-24, that was 19. Now that's only 3. That's 3 diplomas that our kids are getting that they maybe wouldn't have before. So I want to compliment our staff on doing that. If you look at our adjusted diplomas are going down as well, and that's important because those adjusted diplomas are not the regular diploma. And we want all of our kids to receive those regular diplomas. And so I want to compliment our staff on the strides that we're taking to ensure that our kids are getting regular diplomas. Our students deserve every opportunity to receive a regular diploma when they leave our schools. Questions on diplomas? Gold Book we spend a lot of money on. And it is a compliance piece of the IEPs that we write. We've got 68 staff that utilize Goalbooks, and we have 7,452 contacts with Goalbook in helping them stay current and stay within the framework of writing really, really good IEPs. Our highest group usage is Flagview. I want to compliment them. This is 2 years running, and their staff do a phenomenal job of that. Again, if you, and I've sent this to you, but if you look at the number of things that we do, our present levels, our progress monitoring, all of these things enable our case managers to write IEPs that are compliant and that are student-based and data-driven. And all of those things will make it so when we have our next compliance audit, not this next year, but the following year, we are going to be compliant, and our compliance people are doing a great job. Heather and Leanne are doing a great job, and Carol Gangway, our SPED compliance secretary, is killing it. Now, when I first became the director of special services, went to conferences, and they talked a lot about the feds coming out and giving us direction on 504s. And man, I was excited because we're going to have a direction. We're going to have federal direction of where this is going. And I went the next year, and they said, we're coming out with that in the spring. Yes, we're going to have this. Well, we're in year 3, and I went to my first one this fall, and they said, it's coming out. Well, it's not. So we got our 504 committee together with myself, Ms. Hill, Bobby Shanks, Skylar, Sarah, Carol, and Sarah, our 504 committee, and we've revised the manual. It was revised in 2010. We have a revised version that'll come out this fall that will make changes in that 504. So there is more direction and specific information for our staff so that we can do a better job of implementing 504s. I'm excited about that rollout because, like I said, there's just so much gray area there, and the committee has done a great job on that. Questions there?
Dr. Higbee, were there any, I'm sure some of the committee members are parents, but were there any non-district participants on that one?
There are not, simply because this was a procedure manual. It's not a policy manual, procedure manual in which we looked at law, we looked at forms, we looked at the implementation of the 504s, and just kind of upgraded what we've had in the past so we can provide support to counselors and nurses.
Great, thanks.
You betcha. Any other questions?
The compliance audit that you mentioned next year, what year did you say? Sorry.
It will not be 25, 26, it'll be 26, 27.
Okay, thank you.
And we're excited for that. We're excited for that competition because we are going to kill that thing. Not kill it, but we're gonna get after it. So the other thing that has been a focus for us, had a group that was involved in a train the trainer on maximizing the effectiveness of paraprofessionals who work with students with special needs. Since I've been here and since I've been in education, our paras are on the front line of everything that happened in education. And we haven't done a great job of training them. I believe that this is a huge step forward to SPED in Elko County, in us having an onboarding process for our paraprofessionals as they're hired, with a handbook, with an orientation, with an understanding of disabilities in SPED, instructional support techniques, and collaboration and communication. And I believe this is going to really enable us to help students that we have not been able to help before, because our case managers and our paras we'll be more on the same page, and I'm excited for that. The other thing that we are looking at doing there is putting a series of self-paced Canvas courses so that when we have some son of a bee. For a second. Just for, and so we're going to have that. So it doesn't matter when a para is hired. We'll have an orientation process that they'll go through, and they'll be able to meet the needs of our students at a greater capacity. So, questions?
I just have a question. So who has access to goal books? I remember going to that training and I noticed not only is it for writing IEPs, but it was also a great tool for teachers to be able to go in and depending on what struggles a student had, get ideas on different things that they could do to help him or her in class, like different strategies and tools to use.
And
so I
with-
was just curious if paraprofessionals have access to that or just
Paraprofessionals won't. That'll be something that'll be collaborated with our case managers. Gold Book, I think we're at about $52,000, and that just covers like 100 licenses. And so it gets pretty expensive after that. And so it's the role of the case manager to take the strategies that are in Gold Book and help a teacher implement those. Again, help a paraprofessional implement the things that are in those IEPs. So great question. Questions on that? Train the trainer. And finally, we'd like to invite the school board to our first Elko County School District SPED conference. That'll be at the Convention Center. It'll be April 26th. We've got keynotes from all over the state of Nevada. We've had districts reach out to us and ask if they could be involved with this. In this first year, we want to get good at it. After that, I believe we have the best people in the state here, and people will be wanting to be involved in PD from Elko County School District. We've got keynote, we've got our Office of Inclusion. Julia will be here with us. She will give a keynote and a training for admin. We've got a BCBA out of Reno, a renowned BCBA out of Reno who will offer a keynote as well. But I'm excited for that. We'll have lunch. We'd love to have you there to see what we're doing, and would invite you to attend that. So it is a Saturday, but it is free to our SPED staff, our nurses, our paras, our admin, and you as well. And so would invite you guys to be there. So questions for me?
It's free to everybody?
Free to staff.
Staff, okay.
Free to staff, yes.
I wished
do-
I could make it to that. I'm really sad, actually. I won't be able to make it to that. I'll be in Vegas at an all-state choir deal for my son.
It's gonna be legit. I would never tell you to miss your son's event, but it's gonna be pretty legit.
I missed all-state last year, so he's gonna
So-
be really unhappy with me if I miss it again.
You can't miss your sons.
They earn professional hours too?
They will.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Same question I asked Cody. What's your biggest challenge?
Staffing. It is getting licensed staffing. We're doing a great job of that. Cody's doing a great job of that. I just got to tell you, he is killing it. And I just want to thank Cody for his efforts on our behalf. And the other one I want to thank, and he doesn't get a lot of thanks, but that's Seth and transportation. And I'm being serious about that. We get different changes in transportation, and his people do an amazing job of getting that turned around so that we can get kids to school. We've had to transport kids from Carlin to Elko, and it's never, I don't think we can do that. We'll find a way. And so really, really huge shout out to transportation as well. So thank you for the question. Anything else?
Thank you, Dr. Higby.
Thank you.
3.01 is our consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. 4.01 is our superintendent's report. Our superintendent is currently in Southern Nevada doing an accreditation visit, and he's working with the accreditation team to help the Clark County School District, and we anticipate that will benefit Elko County School District in the near future. So that's why he is not present today. The enrollment update is attached, and we will review his superintendent evaluation at our next regularly scheduled meeting on the 15th of April. 5.01 is items from the board members. Nothing from Teresa, anything from Susan? Brooke?
My only thing is I've volunteered to chaperone the Corlears trip that we're leaving at 6 a.m. tomorrow on a bus all the way to Anaheim. It's gonna be fun. But I'm looking forward to watching them perform, and I will hopefully have great news about it when I come back to the next meeting about how they did.
Thank you, Brooke. Echo.
I'll just talk a little bit about what's been going on at school, across campus. So as of recent, I'm not a part of student council, but I've heard student council is putting together, they do a spirit week every year for prom. They also do it for homecoming, but prom is coming April 19th. So they're planning prom, the theme, and they're also planning the spirit week for prom. So that's a big thing going on right now at Elko. And then as Hope Squad members, as Mrs. Vargas said earlier, we just got done with our Hope Week, which is sort of like a spirit week, you could say. We did dress up day, and then a lunch activity and an after school activity every day that week for each different group of kids. So we did one for freshmen, one for sophomores, one for juniors, and one for seniors. And obviously seniors got first pick on what day they got to do. So they of course chose Thursday because they had the most time to choose what they got to do. Us juniors got second pick, and we chose Tuesday, and we said we made the theme Take a Break Tuesday. The dress up day was pajama day because who doesn't want to relax in pajamas at school? And then I missed it because I had to go to a Lions Club meeting at lunch. But for our lunch event, it was stress ball making and slime making for taking a break. And then our after school event, I was able to make it too, of course. And then we set up a couple of Nintendo Switches in the College and Career Center at the high school, and a ton of kids showed up and they were able to play. We had sandwiches from Port of Subs, and it was pretty fun. And then this was a while ago, but it's track season right now. So we had a track season fundraiser. We did a paella sale at the Basque House, and that came out great. We sold out with tickets, and I think it was like, what was it, like $20 a ticket, I think. And we completely sold out, and it was full. And it was, to be honest, I don't really like paella, so I just went and had some tri-tip, but it was really good. So yeah, that's what's going on at school. Any questions or anything?
I have a question. What are some good things about Elko High School that you like?
I really like how inclusive it is there. I mean, there's just always something going on, and I feel like as a kid there, like I never have to worry about, can I go to this? Like I can show up and I know that I'm gonna have someone to talk to, hang out with. Like I'm not gonna have to be worried about I don't know, being excluded, do you say? Yeah. I just feel like there's a lot of groups helping with that. and just in general to help include kids.
Right. Thanks for coming tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Echo, and yes, thank you very much for being here today. For the board, the only thing that I have is you may have seen in the email, an email from Mrs. Glasscock. She's communicated with us a number of times over the past few years. And if there is anyone that would like to see the policy that she's requesting put on the agenda, then please let me know so that I can add it to the agenda. Otherwise, I have nothing at this time, other than our next scheduled meeting, again, is April 15th. So we had 2 back-to-back due to the spring break, and so now there'll be a 3-week gap so that our community knows. We want to make sure that folks are aware of that. 6.01 is the,
Jackpot, correct?
Yes.
it is in Jackpot. Thank you.
Maybe we ought to put
Yes.
that out there. Yeah.
That would be helpful. Thank you, Teresa. Yes, Jackpot. Jackpot, we're coming for you. It's going to be fun. So 6.01 is accounts payable.
I'll move to approve the accounts payable for board docs and board member Durham. I think, can't we do them both together?
Should be able to.
And I will second that, while I also disclose that I have a family member who is employed by Wells Rural Electric. So I will, I'm disclosing that, but I will not be abstaining.
I also have to disclose that I have a family member who works for Wells Rural Electric, but will not be abstaining from voting.
Thank you very much, ladies, because we need both of your votes in order for this to pass. So is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. Thank you very much for that. And 7.01 is our final opportunity for input from the public. Seeing none, we are adjourned at 6:56 because that clock's fast. And we will see you all in Jackpot in 3 weeks. Have a great spring break, everyone. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for the presentation this evening. Have a great evening.